First things first, North America. Seriously, congrats goes out to the USA women's basketball team on beating France today 67-66 in a nail-biter as the USA basketball team came back from being down by 10 in the third quarter to actually secure their 8th gold medal in a row. But the topic on this morning's underrated pod is, why would the USA basketball team not bring Caitlyn Clark onto this team? We are going to delve into a little bit of the USA basketball team victory today, but as well as explore a couple of the impacts that were completely, well, if you will, just never happened because of the horrific decision that the USA basketball organization made by not including Caitlyn Clark. I've got all of that and a whole lot more coming up on the underrated pod today. New to the channel, well over 1 million views in the past 12 months. Please go ahead and subscribe and, of course, like this video. All right, super quick. A'ja Wilson, 21 points today. Absolutely deserved to win the gold medal. The rest of the USA women's basketball team was basically saved by Kalia Cooper and, of course, Kelsey Plum, who both contributed 12 points off of the bench in the victory. This was a game that clearly they could have used, I don't know, a point guard like a Caitlyn Clark to actually be on the court throughout most of this particular game. Now, we'll get more into the Caitlyn Clark effect here in just a second, but I do want to give the USA women's basketball players a lot of credit. Look, basketball internationally is a lot closer today than it was, 4 years ago, 8 years ago. Things have definitely gotten to the point where basketball, regardless of the country that you're actually playing for, has a lot of really good players in it. Gabby Williams, who plays for the Storm, who's taking the year off apparently from playing for the Storm, plays for France. She had an absolutely fantastic game and was just inches away from pushing this game actually into overtime. Now, Sabrina Ionescu, 0 points, and Diana Taurasi did not play at all. I can simply sort of rest my case on just those two things. Now, in terms of the Caitlyn Clark effect or lack thereof effect on the USA women's basketball team in Paris, there's a couple different angles to this story. Now, yesterday, Caitlyn Clark was actually hanging out at Yankee Stadium when she should have actually been across the pond in Paris getting ready for the gold medal game. For the USA basketball organization to miss the 4 following things is totally unacceptable. First thing, simply put, Caitlyn Clark's play on the court absolutely put it to the point where she deserved to actually be on this USA basketball team. And had she actually been on this USA basketball team, they would have absolutely used her in the game today that they ultimately ended up winning by just 1 point. So that's 1 point. The second point is certainly the attendance, if you will, at the actual game itself. Now, the men's game had, 24,000 plus people in attendance to watch the game. And we've seen what's happened here in the United States with Caitlyn Clark and attendance. Attendance for her games are absolutely sold out. And in the W, they actually have to move to NBA arenas when Caitlyn Clark actually comes to town. So the attendance impact on the Olympics for women's basketball, specifically the USA women's basketball team, was certainly felt. They actually only had 12,000 fans at the game for the gold medal game today for the USA basketball team. I'm sure if Caitlyn Clark had been there, those attendance numbers would have been higher. They could have freed up some more space, certainly. So that's the second thing. The third thing is, quite frankly, the television ratings. Now, initially, NBC had published the actual ratings for the first couple games of the Olympics for the USA women's basketball team. But as the games actually went on, NBC stopped actually publishing the actual results. It's something that they would certainly do when they're talking about the men's basketball team as well as other sports. And the reason they did this is there was a significant drop-off because Caitlyn Clark wasn't actually on the team. So that's the other thing. And then the fourth thing is certainly just the overall publicity that Caitlyn Clark has brought to women's basketball to this point. Just the publicity that she has brought to the W as well as to women's basketball as a whole throughout the world absolutely meant that Caitlyn Clark should have actually been on this team. I'm sure maybe if Caitlyn Clark had some more time, she might have become a Canadian just to be on a Olympic basketball team. Maybe she would have played for France. Maybe she would have gone to a different country where her parents had 2 degrees of origin away. Ultimately, the decision to not put her on the team from a pure publicity standpoint, from a pure decision-making point, just made no sense. If the goal of USA women's basketball is to actually grow basketball internationally, then Caitlyn Clark absolutely needed to be on this team. All right. Finally, once again, congrats goes out to the USA women's basketball team. Kelsey Plum, Cooper, Asia Wilson, the rest of the team as well. Congrats goes out to you on the victory. But a huge, absolutely huge misstep. And you'll see when the ratings come out for the gold medal match, what they look like. And then just imagine what the ratings would have actually been had Caitlyn Clark actually been in the game. All right, North America, that is it for the Underrated Pod this AM. For the Underrated, I am Dave DePaul, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day. To the guitar riffs we go.
You've been listening to the Underrated Podcast with Dave DePaul, presented by underrated.media.